So autism and relationships, here are 3 truths about dating people on the autism spectrum. All that plus more is coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie World. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia, and I make weekly videos all about this stuff. So if you're new around here and you want to learn more, come on the journey with me by hitting that subscribe button, by clicking the notification bell down below. You won't regret it. Okay guys, what's going on? It's been a hot minute, but I'm back with another video. I want to talk about autism and relationships because I think autism and relationships is probably one of the biggest questions I get asked, next to autism and jobs. But autism and relationships, finding friendships, finding love and romantic relationships, a big question in the autism community. Now, on that note, I've actually stumbled across a brand new app that's launching very soon, and it's probably already out by the time you watch this, called Collage app. Now, this app is amazing. It's a brand new website. At the moment, it's just a website where you can go and express interest and go on the waiting list, but it is actually going to be an app for Android and Apple where you can actually meet other people on there, potentially date other people, but make friends in a very safe and protected environment for autistic individuals, which is highly important. It's probably the most important thing about online dating for autistic individuals, is safety and verification on those apps. Definitely check it out. I've put a link for the app down in the description down below, so definitely go there, put your name on the waiting list if you're interested, and check out Collage app. The 3 truths about dating someone on the autism spectrum. Now, a lot of people will see autism as being a negative thing or a difficult thing to be in a relationship with, right? So people might be like, oh, I want to continue this relationship, but you're a difficult person, or I want to continue this relationship, but you have too many anger outbursts and I don't understand meltdowns and all this kind of stuff. So autism sometimes is seen in a very negative light, especially when it comes from a responsive partner or somebody who's dealing with someone day to day. And autistic individuals may not be the easiest people to get along with. They are going to be the most loyal and helpful people and most educated people and the most just interesting people you'll ever kind of date. But at the same time, there will be challenges like there is with anything. Now, I have a motto that is, anything that's worth having should be hard work, and that's kind of what I stick to. But then again, there are some 3 truths, some 3 positive ways that you can kind of really put your all into a relationship with an autistic person. Be it you being an autistic person also needs to hear this, and a person who is not autistic needs to also hear this. So let's dive into those right now. So number 1 is listening. Now, listening is when a person we care about wants to connect to us, we need to consistently listen to them. Now, this goes both ways. Listening deeply to a person's needs on the autism spectrum will allow you access into their personal kind of accessibility gap, because then you can help fill that gap. Now, the same thing works on the other way around. If you're an autistic person and you want to have a closer relationship with your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, that you could actually talk to them and say, hey, how can I be a better romantic partner? How can I, what can I do? Do you want to do more date nights? Do we need to kind of snuggle more? Like, what can I do within my boundaries to help increase this relationship and move it forward so that we can have a good, healthy, long-lasting relationship that's free from a lot of negativity that comes with, potential issues with neurological differences. Now, when you do this, it's not like the act is not you asking, the act is actually you listening, taking on board and actioning those things that you've heard. And the same goes the other way around. If you're having difficulties in a relationship with an autistic person, I would definitely recommend sitting down and talking to them and asking, hey, how can we accommodate your needs better? What is missing? Is the temperature too much? Do you need to buy different clothing? Is the bed clothing on, the quilt cover or the duvet, is that too sensory triggering for you? There could be a whole host of things. Now, doing these will allow 2 things to happen. One is you can actually action the things that you've learned. The second thing is you're reinforcing a validation and validating the autistic person's needs and accessibility issues, because a lot of the times autistic individuals will feel unvalidated because people will be like, oh, you're just being fussy. They don't really listen. There's the intent of like, hey, I'm actually listening to you talk. I'm actually taking on board what you're saying, and we're going to move forward with that. So listening is definitely number 1. Okay, so number 2 is discussing compromise and meeting in the middle. Now, one of the things a lot of the time I feel with autism, and especially from my side of things, is I always feel like I see things in kind of like quite a tunnel vision, like a hyper-focus on something, and I want it to be that specific way without realizing the implications that if it's just my way of thinking about it, then other people are going to be like, just my way of thinking about it, then other people are going to be kind of put off by that and be like, well, no, what about my way? Like, say I want the room to be cold, but then my partner wants the room to be hot, right? I'll just be like, well, I need it to be cold right now. And then she'll be like, well, now I'm freezing and I want it to be hot. So how do we compromise? How do we meet in the middle? This is a discussion we need to have, but you have to be willing to compromise. You have to be willing to say, okay, I tell you what, maybe I'll put a pair of shorts on and a vest and hang out in medium heat room. So I'm still cool. The heating is still on a bit so that my partner is just put a hoodie on, but now she's also warm. So you've both compromised there a little bit. You know, you've had the heating on a little bit, not too much, but you've also taken off some clothes and they've put on some clothes to kind of mellow that out. So this is the idea of compromise. And that is the key to making really successful relationships kind of, prosper, because you're wanting to show willing and you're wanting to actually get an actionable goal made and done. So definitely discuss and compromise on meeting in the middle, as some would say. Okay, so number 3 is super important, actually probably one of the most important ones. And this is making a plan of action. Now, whenever you're doing anything with anybody on the autism spectrum, you need to be able to visually map out or plan out everything that you want to do. Is it going to the store? Is it going on holiday? Is it picking the kids up from school? Is it going on a date night? Is it going to the grocery store? All of these things need a plan of action. What time we're leaving, how are we going to get there, what are we going to do for lunch, how long are we going to be, how long do we need to spend in there, how much money do we need to spend? All of these things are concerning for an autistic person because they see the entire global picture of what you're doing. Rather than just living in the moment, it's more of a living in the entirety of everything simultaneously, which is all at once. And so for an autistic person, having a breakdown of what you're going to do, and typically a rough time when you're going to do the thing that's next, like coming home or getting in the car, driving home, go to a different stall, all those things are really important. Now, if you sit down and create a plan of action for the main things that happen in your life, the events, the birthdays, the parties, all those things, you have so much more control over it. And that's what the autistic person really wants, is control over the situation from their side of things. They don't want to control your situation. They want to control their situation and be able to have control over the situation so it doesn't go out of hand. One of the big problems is when we don't have control, or when we have a lack there of control, like we have no plan, we have no strict routine, something interrupts the plan and we go away from it, then the control is lost from our own kind of like beingness. And when that control is lost, we lose it. When you lose control, you have a meltdown, burnout, shutdown. All of these things happen, and you see it all the time. You plan on going somewhere. You say you're driving to work, and then your car breaks down when you're stuck in traffic. These are just typical triggers for an autism meltdown because they are unexpected bumps on the road when you have, your plan has been disrupted. So you need to, best as you possibly can, create a plan for everything, a plan for even like if it's not just your typical routine of staying in the house, you need to plan it out. Now, like, I don't mean getting like a scroll of paper and doing everything. What I mean is like verbally saying like, this is what we're going to do now, then later, and then that's the last thing we're going to do. You could really write it down on your phone if you really wanted to, like if you have quite a few different things to do in that day. But a typical outline plan, even just discussing it, allows the autistic person to feel more comfortable, feel validated, because that's how they deal with things, and feel more heard. Now, I use various different apps to kind of write lists, and I love my Alexa app, and I also love the Siri one on my phone, because I can just say to them, hey, assistant, I won't say because I don't want to trigger everybody's Alexa units, put this in my calendar for 2 o'clock today or whatever, and then it'll kind of map it out for me, and I love that. Now, if you think that's viable, please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help me. If you think this video can help somebody else because it has value, please share it on social media. And like I said, subscribe and give me a comment because I always read them and it means a lot to me. All right, guys.